Welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and you can find more information about my projects, any information like that, on my blog at www.stampingwithhart.blogspot.com. So I wanted to talk about a few things, but before I do that, let me just point out the cards in the project. So this is the Family and Friends stamp set. This is, I feel like it's an easy to miss stamp in the mini catalog, the mini holiday catalog. It's such a cute set. You can combine it with other sets. But what I did here was I created like a day and a night scene, same concept really, just a few minor changes. It is the night scene that we're going to recreate on the live here this evening. I'm not going to have enough time to make both, but that's okay. So we're going to make this one. And that's the stamp set that we're going to be using. And let me just reference it quickly in the catalog so that you know where to find it. This is, excuse me. This is the mini catalog that I am referring to, July to December 2022. And you can find it on page 29. And they are featuring it here with Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, which I thought was great. So if you're interested in that, here it is. Okay, and then I'll have links and everything up on my blog tomorrow. But for now, we can work on making this card. Before we do, let me go over just a few things. So if you're on my email list, you already got this information. If you're not on my email list, I have a join my list option on my Facebook page, or you can join my email list from my blog. And I wanted to talk about a few things that have been going on. I recently did my BOGO. Thank you to everybody who participated in that. It was my first one, and I really appreciate everybody being there. But there were a lot of things that happened on October 4th. There were like a lot of announcements and releases that I didn't get to talk about yet. So there are a few that I really want to mention. The first one is the birthday card organizer kit. If you haven't already seen this, this is what the birthday organizer kit looks like. This is great. I'm planning on getting this. I haven't ordered this yet, but there's lots of good things going on here. There's pockets in this organizer where you can tuck in your cards, and there's actual pieces for cards that you can put in there. I think it's really incredible. So you can kind of get a better idea of the card layouts and then the organizer here. So cute. So that's the first thing that I wanted to mention. And then here is the next thing. So there is something called the Fitting Florets collection. This is brand new. It just went on to pre-order for demonstrators, but here's why I'm mentioning it. I am planning on doing a class with this. So I'm going to give you more information about that later, but there are a few things that I can tell you about this. It hasn't come out yet. It's going to be coming out for customers on November 1st. So it will be orderable on November 1st for customers. If you are interested in getting it now, you can actually put it into a starter kit as a pre-order item. If anybody has been waiting for the ovals like I have, the oval dies, I am so excited about this. I've actually been requesting this. There's like a request box where you can request for certain products. And when I saw these, I was so thrilled. So this is a whole collection that's going to be coming out. I can get into more details about it later, but I wanted to shout it out here because, like I said, number one, I'm planning on doing a class with it. And number two, if you are interested in getting the starter kit this month, which there's an additional savings, you can actually put this in the starter kit. And if you have any questions on that, you can let me know. And the last thing is just mentioning what's happening with the starter kit. So the first thing I want to say is, even though they have a picture of certain products on this picture, you customize your starter kit. So if that's something that you're interested in, they're giving you ideas, but you get to choose the product that you want to put in your starter kit. In the month of October, you can actually get $155 worth of product that you choose for $99, and then there's free shipping on it, and of course you would pay tax. So for the reason that I want to mention this is you actually get $56 in product savings this month with the starter kit. So between the Fitting Florets collection and this, it's like Whoa. So if you have any questions for me on that, I can talk more about this later. Just wanted to sort of mention these before I get started because this is an incredible deal. I haven't been able to really talk about it yet, just because of everything else that kind of the way that October started. But this is a fabulous, fabulous savings. So I'm happy to chat with you if you have any questions. But that's what I wanted to mention. And that birthday kit organizer is, I think, don't quote me, but I think if you go look in the online store, it's $25, which is such a huge savings. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the card that we're going to make. We're going to kind of jump right into it. So this is the day version. This is the night version. And the night version is actually really simple with the products that we're going to use, really. We're just going to do a basic white card base. This is the ones that open like this. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. We're going to cover the entire front panel with our Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper. And I'm using the black and white check pattern, but you could use whichever one you want. This is the same DSP that is here. I just colored it in with Sweet Sorbet to make it look reddish. Okay, so just a slight difference there. So we're going to be using that. We're just going to be using a piece of, and please don't mind I really did not cut that well. I'm going to have to replace my blade. But this is just basic white 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to create this scene. And to create our silhouette, we're going to use our Stampin' Up marker in black. Okay, and of course we'll be using that Friends and Family stamp set, and we'll add in a few other details. We're going to do our night sky again with my 2 favorite new night sky colors, Orchid Oasis and Starry Sky. But here, let me put this so that you can see here. And then for the day version, a lot more Stampin' Blend coloring. We have the same exact like stamping scene. And then I decided to add some snow with our pearlized enamel effects in white. Okay, so I'm going to set the day scene aside. We'll leave the night scene out. And I'm going to get some protective, yeah, here we go. Let's do that. Okay. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our family. So I'm going to use, this is one large stamp for the family right here. Oh, hi, Roberta. Thank you. She said it is $25 for the birthday organizer. I'm going to use, hang on. Here I go, covering things up already. We're going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black to do the stamping first. Okay, and then I would say just leave yourself maybe an inch between the family and the bottom. Okay, and then the next thing that you can do, you can draw a line of where the ground is going to be. We'll just kind of sketch that line there. And you could do it like under their feet too. It doesn't have to be right in line with their feet, but that's what I'm going to do. And then we're just going to start coloring our silhouette. So this card is actually a lot easier. If you guys have done this technique, let me know in the comments. It's pretty cool. I like doing the day scene and the night scene. So all we're going to do with this Stampin' Up marker in black, which, I mean, this is a true black. It really does create a beautiful silhouette. And this is a marker that you can actually purchase individually. So if you don't use the Stampin' Up markers that much, you can get this one singly, but they do offer them in the color collections as well. Okay, so I am jumping into voiceover mode now because I am going to speed up this part of the video because, you know, real time, it takes a little bit longer, but you get the concept here. So this is one of those techniques that you just cannot believe how simple it is to do. And I really do not remember doing this technique previously. I don't want to quote myself on it, but I really don't remember ever doing this. So If you enjoy the silhouette technique or the shadow technique, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. There's another stamp in this set that would also look incredible with this technique. So if you own this or if you're planning on ordering this, and all of the links for this will be available in my online store, you know, you'll have some options to work with there, but it's actually easier to sort of trace the outline than it looks. And I'm using the brush tip side to color in the family. And of course, you do not have to worry about any of those details for their clothes or anything like that because it's going to be black. And now we're just coloring in this bottom panel. You could use your ink pad for this too, but I just really wanted to keep it like sort of matching with the same exact tone of black. So up to you how you want to do that. But I thought that this turned out absolutely incredible. Now for the next piece of this, and I've done this before, so if you've been here before and you've watched me before, this is my new favorite night sky combination with Orchid Oasis and Starry Sky. These are our blending brushes. You can get a set of 3 of our blending brushes. They're either listed in the annual catalog or of course in the online store. I'll have links to these as well as all of the ink colors in my blog post. And I'll have a link to the blog below in the description box below. But what we're doing is we're just coming in from the sides. I'm dabbing off the brush first just to make sure that there's no heavy color so that it's a nice soft blend. Don't press too hard on the brush. And then now I'm coming in with Starry Sky, and this is a little bit of a deeper blue. I'm starting a little bit light-handed and I'm working my way from the top down. I wanted the color to stay a little lighter around the family than I did up here in the actual sky part of the card. So as you're building and creating your scene, you can decide what works best. And there's actually a card in the Stampin' Up catalog that's a very similar layout to this. So it's not an exact case, but it's close. So if you get a chance to check out the catalog, check out the card samples that they have next to this stamp set because they really made some beautiful projects too. Now I'm stamping the trees. There's one stamp that's 2 trees and another one that's a single tree with a star on top. So I just stamped those across in the upper portion of the card. Leave yourself enough room that you can still add that string of lights. And this is Evening Evergreen Light, the Stampin' Blend. I love to use the combo, but I just stuck with light for every single one of these trees. And what you see me doing is just like very gently sort of outlining and zigzagging. And that's a good way to kind of get the detail of the trees without having to be, without it having to take too long. I'm using Soft Suede Dark for the tree trunks. And it's up to you if you want to color. You can see the stamp already includes some artwork for like the ground. Here is that light string stamp. So if you want to add to the ground, you certainly can, but I just left it alone on this particular card. My sample has some Stampin' Blend color for the ground there. Now, what I was talking about here was I had tried using this opaque white pen to color in the lights on my sample card, and I didn't like it. And Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry an opaque white pen, and I don't like, demoing things that you can't buy. So I decided to change it up and to use the iridescent rhinestones. Oh my goodness, how perfect they were for this project. I love the iridescent rhinestones for the lights on this. Wait until you see the reflection. It's hard to tell when you're looking on the screen like this, but in person, it's dazzling. And then I'll pick it up and I'll show it to you. You see that? Oh my gosh, I love that. So I know it can look like, gems or jewels. And I just, instead of doing coloring in a star on the tray, I just put another rhinestone on the center tree there. But I thought it was perfect. So if you want to do more blending and get a really deep, beautiful sky, you can do that. I'm using the From All of Us sentiment, and I'm going to use my banner Pick-a-Punch to create like a banner edge on either side of this little sentiment. But if you are doing, a card and you don't want it to say From All of Us, if it's just from you, that's okay. Just switch out your sentiment there. There's a couple of really good ones in this particular stamp set. I love stamp sets that are a combination of both images and words because, you really get everything you need right in one stamp set there. So now I'm putting down my paper. I decided not to add any color to that, but of course you could if you wanted to blend in some color. And for some reason, the panel that I had cut was really rough looking on the edges there. So I decided to take my marker and go back in and color that in a little bit. So a lot easier than it looks, right? And I'm just using my multi-purpose glue to glue down my panel. And we're going to go ahead and finish up this card by popping dimensionals, or in this case, mini dimensionals, onto our sentiment at the bottom of the card. But you could certainly place it in the center between the family and the trees as well, like I did in the day card. Okay, so this is the finished card. I'm going to bring the day version of the card back in so that you can see sort of the subtle differences there. And I will include a full list of the Stampin' Blends used on the day version of the card, since there's a lot more color on their clothes and everything there. But no contest with the rhinestones, you know, the iridescent rhinestones versus that opaque white pen. If you would prefer to use a gel pen or an opaque pen in any of your colors, go for it, you know what I mean? But for me, there's just something about the bling. I just love it. And then I use the pearlized enamel effects on the day card in white. It actually comes in white, black, and red, which is technically gray. And that's a really nice way to add tons of detail, you know, without using a whole sheet of rhinestones. So anyway, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. I do crafting tutorials each week, and be sure to stay tuned to the next video.